Rice, wheat, and corn may look like simple grains, but in reality, they're the quiet superheroes holding up the entire global dining table. Without them, food security would collapse faster than a badly baked souffle. Billions of people depend on their steady presence, and entire governments have learned that keeping these cereals flowing is as important as keeping the lights on. When rice prices shoot up in Asia, it's not just a problem at the supermarket, it can lead to protests in the streets. When wheat harvests stumble in Europe or North America, bakeries and pasta makers start to panic, and suddenly politicians are giving press conferences about loaves of bread. And when corn supplies dip in Latin America, tortillas, tamales, and countless everyday meals feel the pinch, sparking ripple effects that remind everyone just how much one humble kernel matters. These grains are like the backstage crew of human civilization, invisible when things go right, but unforgettable when something goes wrong. What makes the whole story a little funny is how these grains manage to be both ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. People don't usually wake up and think, wow, thank goodness for corn today, but without it, breakfast cereals, popcorn, and even animal feed would vanish. Wheat is so ordinary that bread gets called the staff of life, which makes it sound like a piece of bread is literally propping up humanity with a wooden stick. Rice, meanwhile, quietly supplies more calories to more people than any other food, yet it never brags. It just sits in its bowl, humble and dependable, feeding half the planet like it's no big deal. Imagine if they were people at a party. Rice would be the reliable one bringing food for everyone. We would be the dramatic one talking about how it built civilization with bread, and corn would be the flashy entertainer juggling popcorn, tortillas, and fuel all at once. Together, they ensure nobody leaves hungry. Their role in food security also highlights how much trust humanity has placed in them. For thousands of years, societies have bet their survival on these crops, and so far, the grains have delivered. They grow in enormous quantities, store well, and adapt to countless cuisines, making them the ultimate insurance policy against hunger. But they also come with quirks that make the story even more human. Rice demands careful water management. Wheat throws tantrums if the climate shifts too much, and corn is such a diva that it needs extra processing just to unlock its full nutrition. Yet despite their quirks, they've stuck with us like loyal friends, proving that food security doesn't come from perfection. It comes from consistency, adaptability, and showing up harvest after harvest. Perhaps the most entertaining part is how global stability sometimes depends on what happens in a field. A drought in one corner of the world can change the price of tortillas, noodles, or bread thousands of miles away, making politicians sweat more than the farmers themselves. It's as if rice, wheat, and corn run a hidden comedy show where they remind leaders, hey, you think you're in charge? Guess again, it's us, the grains, keeping the peace. That quiet power makes them more than crops. They're international diplomats disguised as dinner. They travel across borders, cross cultural divides, and unite people in ways that speeches never could. In the end, the role of these grains in food security is both serious and lighthearted. They are the reason billions wake up each morning with something to eat, yet they do their job without fanfare, dressed simply in kernels and grains. If you look at the big picture, rice, wheat, and corn are not just the backbone of food systems, they're the peacekeepers, the comedians, and the unsung heroes making sure humanity has enough to laugh about over a full plate.